this icon sharpening Billiard and Tristan and Tommy.
Welcome to Two Useless Organisms, a show where two useless organisms discuss a variety of topics as it pertains to their existence. Today's show, we will be discussing our childhood favorite movies and the best shits we've ever taken. Speaking of shit, keep in mind the show isn't safe for work, so bad words might be said, I guess. Tristan, why is your topic the best shits we've ever taken?
Because last week we talked about something really deep and meaningful.
We did?
Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
talked
we
about
did.
what it's like to be an adult.
Oh
And
yeah.
it went places. We actually got some feedback from our good friend Greg about how much he appreciated that. I don't know if you saw any of that, Tommy, but Greg reached out and said that he was very pleased with how what we talked about because when he was our age, when he was 19,
Mhm.
like me and you, he felt like a failure. And now he
Mhm.
realizes that you shouldn't feel like a failure if you're not where you want to be. So fast forward to now, and we're going to
Mhm.
talk about the best shits we've ever had because
I do. That is a good point. We do like the variety, and also thank you, Greg. I'm glad that you enjoyed these two useless organisms.
mhm. So yeah, poo poo pee pee.
Pee pee poo poo.
All right. I
All
don't really
right,
have any comments or messages for this week. We're just gonna hop on into
just
this big crock of
just
bullshit.
jump right into it.
We might have a little, you know what? Actually, I'll say this now. We might have a little bit of a delay between our next episode because I'm about to be in Vegas for 5 days.
Oh
And then I'll
yeah.
be back in Florida for a few days, like 5 or 6 days. And then I'm going to
Mhm.
Illinois for a week. So,
Okay. So we both got stuff going on.
Tommy, what the hell are you doing?
Um, Good question.
Okay.
I'll tell you that after the show.
I hope it involves burying children.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bury some children, all right.
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy. I might
Yeah,
visit his home in Illinois. His home's in Illinois.
you're gonna visit John Wayne Gacy's home.
Yeah, he doesn't live there anymore,
Oh yeah,
but
does
I'm
he
gonna
not?
visit.
Oh yeah.
Tommy, you have a first topic. What is it?
All right, favorite childhood movies. Tristan, when you were
Um,
a child,
yeah,
what were your favorite movies?
there's so many stages of childhood. Um, when I was a baby, I mean an infant, I watched Fantasia a lot. When I was a toddler, I don't know what I watched as a toddler. That I was on so many drugs back then. It was a
Lucky.
really dark period of my life. I don't remember that. But then I would say probably a couple years after that, it was Star Wars. I was watching Star Wars religiously, specifically The Phantom Menace.
Nice.
um,
The Phantom Menace. That was episode numero uno, correct?
yeah, episode one, and it's the
Mhm.
fourth movie. So
Yeah,
just for our non-Star
yeah,
Wars fans, it makes no fucking sense. But
yeah. The prequels
yeah, the
with
prequels.
toddler Anakin.
Yeah. So actual kids movies, I don't know, like
I mean, you could have been shown rated R movies as a kid. This is just your favorite movies when you were a kid.
favorite movies when I was a kid. Then
Yeah.
would I mean, yeah, probably be Star Wars. Um, that's a great. I see. I've never thought about this before.
Which actually, hold on. Speaking of that, when did you watch your first rated R movie and what was it? Do you remember? Like, do you remember that?
That's a good question. I don't I don't know. I remember seeing like the 1992 Dracula at some point when I was somewhat small. Oh, is Chicago rated R? The musical Chicago?
Oh, I don't
I
know. Let me find that. I'm gonna go on IMDb real quick. I really like that
because
musical though.
I my parents took me to see that in the theater and I was a little kid for
Let's
that.
see. Chicago.
Oh man.
Chicago. 2002. It was PG-13.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
Either way, if that was in 2002, I was 6 years old.
Oh wow.
um, I don't know. I would have to say that 1992 Dracula. I remember seeing that as a little kid, and that is super rated R. Um,
Yeah.
what about you? Do you know what your
Yes, I remember the name. I believe it was this the right one?
for our
'Cause I don't.
audio listeners? Tommy's looking at his phone.
Yeah, no, because like I believe it was a movie called Losing It, and it
Oh,
was like some really old comedy. Like I'm on an IMDb page for a movie called Losing It that came out in 1982, and it says that Tom Cruise was in it. Is that can't be right? No, I don't think. No, I don't think that. No, I think I was looking at something else. No, it says Tom Cruise. That doesn't make any sense. He wasn't in this movie, or maybe he was very young. I don't know. But it was like some old comedy that I don't think anyone even knows existed, but I know my dad really liked it, and that was the first rated R movie I ever saw. I think there was boobies in it.
okay. I'll 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 branch off here because this is more
Like
applicable.
I remember they traveled to Mexico and like got in jail at one point. But anyway, um,
Great. Uh, the first YouTube video I ever liked was
mhm.
Saddam Hussein's hanging.
Wow,
I was 11.
YouTube. I'm
YouTube back in the day, like there's still
I
some
know.
stuff on there, but
Yeah.
it was the Wild West.
Yeah, I really miss the Wild West of YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because I arguably watch more YouTube now than I ever did back then, but like it felt like it used to be so much more fun.
It was like okay, here we are. YouTube back when I got into it, which would have
Yeah.
been 2009, maybe earlier, maybe 2008. But I
Hmm.
would it was like the entertainment on YouTube was so stupid compared to
Yeah.
now, but I also respect it a lot more because now
Yeah.
YouTube is like
What is
content
going on,
create.
guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome back to another one of my videos, and today I'll be discussing my top 10 bullshit.
Yeah,
I like to thank the sponsor for today's show, Skillshare. If you want to learn to make videos like me, do this. In today's video, shut the fuck up.
it's like
Uh, uh,
people who are doing not necessarily mundane tasks, but
yeah.
like nothing worth being considered entertainment.
Yeah.
And yet they have millions and millions of subscribers and they have a Patreon and they make lots of money and they have sponsors and
And I
like
spend way
what?
too much time watching them
Yeah,
anyway.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I just I don't get it. But anyway, so
Yeah.
going back to what YouTube was like at that time, you remember like
Yeah.
when Charlie Bit My Finger was a thing, or
Yes, Charlie Bit My
Charlie the
Finger, the
Unicorn.
original Smosh.
Mm-hmm. But oh
Niga
yeah, back in the
Higa.
day when you could go on YouTube and it was like a list of the top 10 most
Yes.
subscribers, and it was like Shane Dawson, it was Niga Higa. I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mispronounce that one. But
Yeah.
Smosh,
Yeah.
all these, and it's like now
Yeah.
there's no such thing. Now there's like a bazillion people that have a bazillion subscribers,
Yeah.
and I don't care about any of them.
I know. And like there is still a few of like the comedy, like, funny channels, but like I just feel like they're not as prevalent. Like they're not nearly as prevalent as they used to be.
Yeah.
Like now it's just like niche like interests and videos about them.
It,
Like
it
I'm
it's that, and it's like it's been so business
mhm.
oriented too. Like
Yeah.
back at that time in like 2008, every company that exists didn't have a YouTube channel. YouTube was
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
general public. It was just
Literally.
for people.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was
the
just for any
NFL.
idiots making skits in their backyards. Like
Exactly right. The NFL didn't need a YouTube channel.
the most viewed video on YouTube was the Smosh, like when they were teenagers lip syncing to the Pokemon theme song. That had like 30 million views, and it was the most viewed video on YouTube at that time.
And even that is ridiculously
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. Like that, it's kind of crazy to think that that became, yeah.
It was, and YouTube was just a place where you could find completely random things. You could just search people falling over,
Yeah.
and it was just a video of a fat kid falling in a stream and it was hilarious. But now it's like, try not to laugh challenge, funny vines compilation. And
Yeah.
it's just simply not as funny. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I remember there's one old YouTube video called the Taco Song,
Mhm.
and I don't even think anyone has ever seen it before. It probably still has like tens of thousands of views, and that's about it.
Anyway, so childhood movies.
Yeah, childhood movies.
We went from that to rated R movies
It's to YouTube.
to YouTube. I like more children's movies now than I did back then, I think.
Interesting.
Because like you know the movie How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got super into that movie when I was like 15, 16.
Because like yeah, that came out in like 2010 or something like that.
Yeah,
2010,
2010.
2011. Yeah, so like yeah, we were in high school. Like I remember I really loved that movie.
Yeah.
And then like also like 2010's Disney movies were fire. Like Wreck-It
Mhm.
Ralph, Moana, Big Hero 6. Those are some of my favorite Disney movies right there.
And even then, I like Disney movies now more than I did
Oh, I
as a
agree.
little kid because now they mean something more to me now.
Oh, absolutely.
There's like a culture to it that kids
Yeah.
wouldn't realize. Kids wouldn't turn on like Sleeping Beauty from 1956
Oh yeah.
and enjoy it as much
Yeah,
as
like
we
I
do.
love Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure how much I would have enjoyed it as a kid, but like I've actually finally watched it during the pandemic, or not during, like the lockdown of the pandemic.
Hmm.
That's when because like I don't know if I watched that many Disney movies when I was a kid. Um, like if I did, I was very young and don't remember them. So like 2020, like Disney Plus had been out for a few months. Like that's like when I finally watched a bunch of them and like was loved them. When I was a kid, some of my favorite movies, I think the first favorite movie I ever had was the live action Scooby Doo movie.
Yes.
Like I specifically remember like hanging out at some kid's house in the neighborhood. There was a bunch of us. It was the summertime. And like they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go see the Scooby Doo movie today." I'm like, "That doesn't come out till July something. That's today." Oh, and then we went, and me seeing like being at the movie theater like one or two times before that was like, "That was awesome," and I loved that movie. And I remember getting that DVD for Christmas that year and watching it 100 times,
Yep.
just on repeat all day, every day. So that was my first favorite movie. I also was super into Agent Cody Banks. Who fuck, what was his name? Frankie Muniz.
Yep. Yep.
That was his name. Good on Frankie Muniz. Like he was like a big child star that made a bunch of money, and then probably retired when he was 19 from acting, and like doesn't have to do shit for the rest of his life probably.
Mhm.
Like he had his fame as a kid and can just do whatever the fuck he wants to like for the rest of his life. Like that is awesome. He's living the dream. Good for him. Like I think I remember like years back, maybe even like a decade back, like there was some tweet like some guy was like trying to make fun of Frankie Muniz for being like, has been whatever. And he said, and I think Frankie Muniz replied like, "Yeah, but I'm retired at 19 with millions of dollars. Good luck at your day job," or something
Mhm.
like that. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was like, "Damn." And I feel like I've seen an interview of him recently where he's like actually seems like pretty chill and like he's not an actual dickhead. Like that was just him clapping back at an asshole on Twitter, which in the most hilarious way possible, truthfully. Um, yeah, did you ever watch Agent Cody Banks?
No, I don't even know what the fuck that is, but
Oh, it was fine. It had Frankie Muniz. The first one had who's that girl that played Lizzie McGuire?
her real name's Lizzie McGuire.
Oh shit, that's her name.
I don't fucking know. It's not who.
It wasn't Hillary Duff, was it? Was that
No,
her
I think
name?
that is. I think that is
I
it. I
think I
think
think that
Hillary
was
Duff.
her name, Hillary
Yeah.
Duff. She was in that. She was in the first one. The second one she wasn't in. And that one they go to London. Agent Cody Banks 2 Destination London. Heck yeah. Um, I also another my other favorite childhood movie was one called Catch That Kid.
Mhm.
Which looking back now, the story is actually kind of darkish, where this kid's dad was like really sick, and I don't think they were able to afford like some of his hospital bills or procedures he needed. So uh these teenagers kids decided to rob a bank to get the money to pay for it. But like they like put like they like went to the bank like driving go-karts that they put like NOS in, and they like drove them with, and they activated it with an Xbox controller. When I was a kid, it was the coolest fucking shit.
Sounds fucking dumb now.
Oh, it was fucking dope. I want to rewatch it just to,
Well, speaking
yeah.
of rewatching things, because you want to
Yeah.
rewatch a kids movie as an adult, but
I
let's
know
flip
you
this. Let's flip this, Tommy.
Okay.
Take a really obscure or messed up, demented, disturbing movie that you like now
Uh-huh.
and go back in time and watch it as a kid. What movie would it be?
Oh, fuck.
Just to see how young Tommy reacts to it.
I don't know, because I'm like thinking when I was in high school, I would watch fucked up movies.
Yeah.
But young Tommy, I'm not sure. Um, See, I just remember a Reddit comment on a thread about disturbing movies, and there's a movie from 1996 called Kids,
Hmm.
which like is a pretty fucked up movie. It has like like actual teenagers acting, doing drugs and having sex, that type of thing. And this commenter said that when he was a kid, like his dad rented a movie from Blockbuster and it was Kids, but it's called Kids. How bad can it be? And he just left his kid alone watching Kids. He walked in, saw what he was watching, just took the VCR out and just walked out of the room. And as a child, just sat there for the next 40 minutes, not doing anything.
Uh-huh.
What movie can I show kid me in good conscience? I don't know. How about you? Do you have a thought on that? Because you brought the question.
Yeah, so one of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called Happiness. And
Oh
Tommy,
yeah,
I think we watched it
we
together
did.
at our
Yeah,
old podcast co-host Eric's place.
yeah,
And when I saw that movie, the first time I was like, whoa, this is screwed up. Do you remember that movie, Tommy? Like
yeah,
it's a story of a bunch of different people
yeah.
who are all trying to find their own version of happiness, but they're all their stories are intertwined in some way or another with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Some real disturbing stuff. Philip Seymour Hoffman plays like this complete
Mm-hmm.
pervert, and he's amazing at it. All this stuff. I would show little Tristan that just to see what he like. I want to see how I would react to that with the mind of a child because you don't like
Yeah,
grasp certain concepts. I don't even know if I would know what was going
yeah.
on.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, see, one thing I remember is so Green Day is my favorite band of all time, and I remember when I was a kid, I got the Bullet in the Bible uh DVD, and that was like a live concert they did at Milton Keynes Bowl in England. And I was a kid and I was watching this, but there's a part of it where Billy Joe, he's like he puts his hand down his pants and he's like, kind of simulating jacking off in a way and just like moaning and just shouts, "Somebody fuck me!" into the mic. And like me just like as a child and like, oh shit, my parents might see this, I like turned it off. I'm like, I'll finish watching Green Day later. But yeah.
I don't know. Interesting stuff. Well, that we didn't talk about childhood movies pretty much at all, but
You know,
I mean,
we got more out of this than I thought we would, though.
yeah,
So
we did.
that's
We went all sorts of places, and I'm glad we did. But
yeah,
now, because we're content creators and we have sponsors and things, I think we should take a break to listen to one of them. Bark, bark, dogs, and we're back.
wow, what a good sponsor. Bark Bark Dogs.
Mhm. Yeah, we're scraping
Yeah,
the bottom of the barrel now.
I
That's
get
where
I
we're
get
at.
we're it's trouble to finance our show sometimes, so you got to take whatever sponsor you can get.
Yeah. Well, dogs wanted to support us, and we support dogs, doesn't everybody? But we'll move on to our
Yeah,
next topic
just
here. And
give your dog a nice pet.
yeah, give him a nice old milk bone from the
Yep.
two useless organisms.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the best shits we've ever taken, and um, I'm going to go ahead and say that mine is after I got done eating IHOP,
Mm-hmm.
and I just shit straight water.
That's the best shit you've ever taken?
Oh, define best. It's a loose term. I don't really know.
See, I don't know. I was thinking, if we're talking about good shits, it's like you feel good after taking it.
Mhm.
Like
And
you
during
and but like if it's coming out water, I don't imagine that feeling good. I don't know.
it was more a sensation of shock and worry, almost like "Am I dying?" type of thing.
S-
It,
See, I wouldn't define a good shit by me feeling like I'm dying.
well, like I said, define best.
I guess so. I guess
Mm,
that's what we're here to do.
That's how Elvis died. He didn't die, I believe, in the process of shitting, but he did die on the toilet.
Yeah.
Pretty sure his pants were around his ankles, so he.
Yeah. And supposedly he hadn't shit for like 4 months or something like that.
I hope they cover that in that new Elvis movie. I haven't seen it yet.
I hope so too.
If that's
Like,
not the end, I don't care.
I mean, if it's 4 hours, it could be like a bottle episode in movie form of him just being on the toilet. His final, the movie is his final moments.
All right, where I have a million funny things going through my head, like him saying, "Oh, thank you very much,"
Yeah.
and then he just dies. No, but I know I agree with you, Tommy.
Yeah.
You feel satisfied when you're done. You're like you feel
Yeah.
lighter, you feel
Yeah.
more refreshed. Um, I don't know. It's almost like a massage, isn't it?
A massage for your butthole.
Yeah,
If
it's
it's a good one, yeah.
isn't that exactly what it is?
That's the dream right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like you're being healthy. You're excreting things
Yeah.
that your body doesn't want anymore and that you shouldn't
Yeah.
have anymore, and you're
Hmm.
massaging your butthole.
Correct.
Where's the
Es-
downside?
Especially if like it's not like messy, like it's an easy cleanup, you know?
Yeah,
Like
that's
because some
also fun.
I don't have fun if I have to wipe too much. Like I like this is why we've said on the show before that bidets need to be a thing more
Yeah,
commonplace in the States. Like
yeah.
I need to still invest in one of those. I think the best shits, no matter the quality, are when you're at work on the clock.
Oh yeah.
There's the old saying, boss makes a dollar, I make a dime. That's why I poop on company time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait till your breaks to poop.
Yep.
Always do it on the clock.
Yep. Definitely. 100%.
Before you
There's an
clock into
app.
your lunch, make sure to poop before you clock into lunch.
There's an app out there where you can like plug in your wages and everything,
Hmm.
and you can put in how long you were on the toilet for each shift, and then like I don't know if it's at the end of the year or something, but it tells you how much money you earned just by sitting on the toilet at work.
I love that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So like you get that money and like whatever it's at 20, 25 bucks, you go out and get some Taco
Yeah.
Bell. And this is free Taco Bell. I sat on the toilet during this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Heck yeah.
um I once took a poop actually at work that was in the shape of the male reproductive organs. And before I could take a picture of it, the stupid auto sensor flushed it.
Oh,
Those should be
I hate
illegal.
those.
Let me tell you.
Those should be.
Manual flush only.
Yeah, no. There's a one toilet in a break room at my work that like its automatic sensor is like aggressive.
Yeah. The
Like
worst.
even while on the clock, it's just not comfortable because it's just constantly flushing, and I like have to like get up to make sure it doesn't like give me Poseidon's kiss. Which for
Mm-hmm.
those that don't know, Poseidon's kiss is when the toilet flushes and it hits you. No, wait, no, wait, fuck, I messed that up. Poseidon's kiss is when you poop and then the water splashes you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you're in a public restroom, you have to put toilet paper in the splash zone.
Yes. To
Yeah,
absorb
yeah,
the kinetic energy. I don't know if
and
that's what that is, but yes,
and to avoid Poseidon's kiss.
to avoid Poseidon's kiss. Very interesting. I will say that probably the most interesting shit I've ever taken was
Hmm.
I was flying either from Florida to Illinois or Illinois to Florida, and I was pooping at the airport, but it was time to go. Like it was time to get on the
Hmm.
plane, so I
Yeah.
cut it off, flew to the other state, finished there.
Oh yeah, you told me that was like the longest poop you've ever taken.
That's 1,000 mile poop right there.
Wow,
Yeah.
that might be a world record.
Well, I'll call Guinness and see.
Has anyone had a longer poop than that?
Somehow, I think that someone has started to poop in an airport and ended at another airport in time. But I'll give
Maybe.
myself the trophy just to
Yeah. Heck
do.
yeah.
But that's probably I would say that's mine. Tommy, do you have a number one standout?
I really don't. So I feel like there's two types of people. People who are very comfortable just talking about pooping all the time, and then people that don't acknowledge that they poop at all.
Mhm.
And I feel like you fall into the former category and I fall into the latter. So like I'm like my brain won't even let me think of any specific times that I've had.
Mm.
But like, I alluded to earlier how like there's certain poops that make you feel a certain way. Like I've had, one or two of those where it's like, man, that was great. And I feel like that doesn't happen very often. And I don't remember specifically when they are either.
I'll have to
So
keep a poop journal, kind of like my dream journal that we talked about
yeah,
a few episodes back.
yeah.
Poop journal.
Oh, you have an actual poop journal.
No, well, I should start one, and it would be my emotions before the poop, like how I'm feeling during the poop, after the poop, what I think caused the poop. Look down, see, okay, what food is that? Was that the KFC I had yesterday, or was that my pancakes this morning? All these sorts of statistics can probably be pulled together and reviewed at a later date and time to kind of get a better understanding of my bowel movement schedule, um, and um, and things like that. This might actually be a really good idea.
It it might be.
Everyone, start recording your poop routines, please, and post them on our just flood our social media with details of your bowel movements,
If
please.
if you have any poop related stories, let us know in the comment section down below.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great idea. I'm amazed. Anyway, we're running short on time here, so I
Oh,
will
thank God.
run on to our you know, the best part of the show here, and that is the
Yelp review. Yelp review. Yelp review.
Yeah.
All right, so this one, my lad, is for Too Much Cake Mobility Scooters out of
Fuck, I want
Baxley,
some
Georgia.
cake right now.
Well, so did the fella who runs this company, and you're going to hear why that was a mistake.
Oh God.
Too Much Cake Mobility Scooters out of Baxley, Georgia.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Last week, I was at the National ADA Symposium in Atlanta, where I was unexpectedly exposed to a business that left me baffled. You see, I'm a building inspector, and I visit the symposium every year to keep up to date on ADA regulations. I was walking around the convention when I noticed an inebriated man drive his oversized scooter full speed into a display of wheelchairs. The man got up and sprinted over to a booth and attempted to hide under the table. I looked to see if anyone around was the owner of the booth, and then at the booth itself, where a big banner hanging on the back wall read, Too Much Cake Mobility Scooters. Across the way from the booth was a food court, so I sat down and got something to eat while I waited to see what happened next. Well, after 45 minutes of looking at the belly hump of this bloated carcass peeking up over the tabletop, I realized the culprit was in fact the owner and decided to become part of this story and provoke the next plot point. I took a step into the booth to peek down at the owner, fast asleep on the floor with melted Dippin' Dots stuck to his chin. I glanced to the other side of the booth where 3 scooters were on display, and I decided to see what the horn of one of these bad boys sounds like. I pressed the little red button on the steering wheel, and the most deafening foghorn rendition of Taylor Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble blared out of the scooter, waking the owner immediately. The shock of the horn sending a violent convulsion of spasms throughout his spatially inefficient body, launching the table a solid 4 feet into the air. I'm pretty sure I heard a fart in there somewhere during all this, too. I ran back to my table and sat down as if nothing happened, watching the man gather his composure and sit down behind the table, trying his best to demonstrate a calm demeanor, despite having just woken up from a frozen dairy-induced coma. The man then looked down under the table confused and began trying to reach for something on the floor. His bulging belly was preventing him from reaching whatever it was, but his pride was preventing him from asking for help, so he just kept violently lunging his upper body down towards the ground in a desperate attempt to grab the object. It looked like he was riding one of those mechanical bulls you'd find at a Kentucky bar, rapidly flailing around in a chaotic burst of energy. Well, he lunged too hard and fell out of his chair, letting out a primordial scream as his titanic body hit the ground. He didn't even make a thud. It sounded more like silly putty being slapped onto a hard surface. Well, 10 minutes later, he was able to get back up with the mystery object in hand, a TV remote. He then turned on the TV hanging on the back wall of the booth, and a self-filmed video promoting his business began playing.
Hi, I'm Jack Wubbleson, owner, founder, president, captain, and CEO of Too Much Cake Mobility Scooters. Many years ago, I suffered a trauma that would make a 1940s Jew vomit. One day, I was walking into my favorite bakery, but I tripped and fell due to the curb being too high. 25 minutes later, I was on my feet again and headed into the bakery. The employees just looked at me weird, and before I could put in my order, they asked why I celebrate my birthday 15 times a year. Well, I had the last ha-ha and got back at all the haters by creating Too Much Cake Mobility Scooters. These tanks are made with structurally reinforced titanium frames to support even the most valuably sized person. We live in a world where too many people are affected by genetically inherited type 2 diabetes, and I'm here to put an end to that, because I'm a victim myself. You see, this horrible disease was passed down to me by my stepdad when I was 16, and all the guilty Twinkies I've eaten since pushed me to create this wonderful product. So call 1-800-SCOOTER or visit tmcmobilityscooters.com for more, and live the rest of your life one guilt-free Twinkie at a time.
A few minutes into the video, the owner pulled a large sealed box out from under the table with the words "Emergency Pootie Box" written on it in marker. He opened the lid and pulled out a rusty bedpan, walked over and put it on the floor in the corner of the booth. He then pulled the back of his pants down under his ass and proceeded to spray mud all over the wall of his booth. His face was beet red with a giant vein bulging out of his forehead, clenching his jaw closed and only letting out restrained grunts and whimpers as a substance that resembles peanut butter and crushed pine cones spewed out of him with a trajectory of paintball ammunition onto the fabric wall of his booth. Shortly after, the hazmat team arrived to clean up the toxic waste that littered the corner of the booth, and I spent the rest of my day elsewhere at the convention. The next day, I woke up to get ready for my flight back home and went to walk across the street of my hotel to the Dunkin'. And wouldn't you know it, the owner of Too Much Cake Mobility Scooters was there too. The only problem was his custom scooter was too big and bulky to make it up the ADA accessible ramp. I took this as a sign that Americans are gradually outgrowing the previously established wheelchair ramps, and soon the average ADA ramp will have to be big enough to allow a Hummer to traverse. I can't imagine sales will be too great for this company, although I've seen lots of positive reviews coming out of Mississippi. If you're considering purchasing a Too Much Cake scooter out of necessity, eat a Cliff Bar and hit the treadmill, assuming your heart doesn't explode in the process. 0 out of 5 stars.
All right. Well, too much cake.
Do you like America, Tommy?
No.
Yeah, well, that's where we're at, so I fucking hate it, dude.
I mean, I feel honestly that's probably the least of my worries, but I mean yeah.
We are just the most I don't know if we're technically the unhealthiest. I think Mexico might be more unhealthy. Not 100% on that.
I feel like Australia was beating us on fat people at one point.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if they're still sustaining that or not.
I would believe it. Or China. China has to be. They got some pudgy fuckers over
No.
there, dude.
There's no way they're fatter than us.
I don't know. There's so many pudgy fuckers. There's so many. You know what? Maybe you're right. I just have this image of a fat Asian man in my head, though. I feel like they're so common. Am I crazy? Am I thinking of Kim Jong-un?
You're thinking of Kim Jong-un, maybe, but like the rest of the country is not eating as much as him. That's for sure. I had a thought about fat people, I think, but I don't remember what it was. What were we saying before?
We were just talking about how sad it is that so many people have to use scooters just to be mobilized due to their own
yeah.
shit. I mean, these people are doing it to that. Did you hear the part where this guy says in his video that type 2 diabetes was genetically passed on to him by his stepdad?
Oh wow, that totally went over my head. I didn't even think about that.
How does that work?
That's a beautiful question.
This guy, I mean, it's just the motherfucking ignorance of these fucking lard asses walking around out there thinking that they're the victim when they ate 25 Hershey bars every week growing up, and goddamn donuts are like every block of the food pyramid to them. And Jesus Lord Christ, you ever watch that show 1,000 Pound Sisters? Like, goddamn.
I haven't, and I don't plan on that.
It's at the point where it's just entertainment. Like watching fat people try to live is a reality TV show.
That's upsetting.
I'm sad, dude. I'm going to bed and I'm going to be sad. I'm going to bed sad.
Yeah.
This episode's over. Get it together, America.
Wasn't this supposed to be the funny episode?
Well, yeah, I was supposed to bounce back from that dreadfully boring one last week.
Poo-poo.
But now I'm just discouraged.
Yeah.
God damn it. Well, anyway, thanks for listening, folks. We really appreciate it. Share this show with all your weird friends. We know they'll like it. We have social media. Follow us on all of them: Twitters, Instagrams, Facebooks, YouTube. We have the video version of our show out there. Leave a rating and review, 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Tommy, fuck you.
Yes.
Stole my line.
Two useless organisms. Two useless organisms. Ugh. Ah!
We don't like
Oh.
that.